Hello everyone, welcome to Analog IAS Current Affair Analysis for 27th May 2020, and these are the articles we'll be dealing today. The first article for the day is taken from the Hindu and it is titled How India Can Become Self-Reliant. Now before we begin this article, let us try to understand a brief background from which the idea presented in this article is coming from. So, in the first 20-30 years following the India's independence, the vision of the founding leadership on the role of science and technology arose out of the freedom movement. It was not as if we became independent and then we started thinking about what kind of a nation we should be building. There is already a vision for the makers of this country. So, the idea of India was already present in the leaders and also the policy makers of our independent country. The role of science and technology in shaping development was central to this idea. So this conception was quite unique among the developing nations at that particular point of time, because even during the second wave of independence of the erstwhile colonies Africa, the centrality of science and technology in the post-independence development story did not quite feature in any other countries except India. So it is wrong to say that India did not pay heed to the development of science and technology in our country. Having said that, if we have to compare ourselves with our peers like China, we are lagging. So if we go back into our history, India was unique in that it became the first developing nation to formulate a formal set of science and technology policy. So these policy documents were called the Scientific Policy Resolution, and this was followed by Industrial Policy Resolution. Both these documents actually concretize the ways in which science and technology would facilitate development in our country. So there was an inherent bid for self-reliance in our country. So this was actually a good move, but after the 1991 LPG reforms, the focus shifted completely towards an educational framework that is centered around providing manpower to the service sector. So service sector jobs became the priority of our education and moved away from research and development. So as a result, we have plethora of engineers who are willing to study engineering not for the sake of research and development as a career, but because engineering is actually seen as a way for ensuring job security in our country. We can't blame them for their choices, because India was always a middle income country and education was one such way where they could have moved up the social ladder. So that was the reason for their choices. Now it is the duty of the government to reshape the path that we take now for ensuring the objective of this self-reliance and the philosophy of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Now how do we do that? Without investing money in research and development, we cannot ensure that self-reliance actually takes place. The reason for saying this is because if we take a look at our import basket, even though India is the largest market for cell phones, we don't have indigenous cell phone manufacturing. Similarly, if you take a look at a lot of products where India definitely has a lot of potential, say whether in the form of electronic goods or microprocessors, personal computers, for all these products we are still dependent on imports. There is an urgent need to identify these sectors and promote indigenous manufacturing, and this is where we can focus upon self-reliance. So at the same time, we also have to remember that India completely missed the third industrial revolution because India did not focus on these sectors. Now we are talking about Industry 4.0. What is this Industry 4.0? We are talking about Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, big data. So all these technologies will converge together along with the creation of a 5G ecosystem. We are talking about manufacturing that is automated. We are talking about technologies like 3D printing, and on any of these fronts, India is still far behind when you compare with China and Europe. So the only way in the future where we can dream of being self-reliant is through complete indigenous technology, and when we invest on our basics like health, education, research and development, and these should sufficiently come from the state rather than depending upon private sector. So this is the gist of this article, a very good article. Please store this in your archives. The second article for the day is taken from the Live Mint and it is titled "The Gandhian Economic Model Could See Us Through This Crisis." So what is the importance of Gandhian economic model? That is the focus of this Live Mint article. What do you mean by this Gandhian economic model? At the heart of this economic philosophy of Gandhi is a complete rejection of the conception that human being always tries to maximize his self-interest. That is, he's only focused on what we know as in Keynesian economics as consumption-based or consumption-driven growth. So Gandhi is completely against this philosophy. He feels this Western concept of consumption-driven growth is unsustainable. That is where his philosophy of saying that the earth has enough for everybody's wants but not for everybody's greed comes from. So this is the heart of philosophy of Gandhi. Now how can we use this philosophy for our economic growth? That is the point of this article. So realizing the problems of globalization caused by pandemic of COVID-19, we have realized that instead of global value chains, we have to focus on decentralizing our production systems. So at the same time, we also have to aim for increasing our share in exports, and export driven growth should also be the point of emphasis. However, before all that, we have to reduce our import dependence. Now how do you do that? By self-reliance. So this concept of self-reliance was central to the thinking on economic models proposed by Gandhi, where villages became the centers of production. So these villages were to act as centers of self-reliance because they were supposed to be self-sufficient. Now how is this achieved? This concept of Sarvodaya, where social trusteeship or a person or a say in the modern parlance, we can say the example of capitalist. This capitalist will be responsible or he will act as a trustee for taking care of the production models in the villages, and they are made self-sufficient. After this, only then they can produce excess. So this is the idea of Sarvodaya, where there is a social contract between the capitalists and the villagers. So this is also in common with the idea proposed by Vinoba Bhave, who is also a Gandhian thinker. And similarly, we also had this self-reliance movement even in our Swadeshi period as well. So the alternate thought of capitalism was often construed to be Marxism. Gandhi does not believe in the Marxist principle that the working class should be fighting against the capitalist class. Gandhi believes that the capitalists and the working class should work together to create a society that is sustainable. Now, this is what the modern thought of World Economic Forum takes into consideration when they talk about what they call as stakeholder capitalism as against a shareholder capitalism. Now what is this stakeholder capitalism? Let us try to understand what shareholder capitalism actually means. So when we talk about shareholder capitalism, the emphasis is always on maximizing the profits of the investors. But when you take into consideration the stakeholder capitalism as a basis for policy, you take into consideration the problems of all the stakeholders, that is even the workers also. So in the present day context, if you take the example of labor reforms, recently the International Labour Organization has requested our Prime Minister Modi to take into consideration the problems of labor as well while we are carrying out labor reforms. The central philosophy here is the stakeholder capitalism, where the capitalists as well as the workers work in tandem. So the concept of World Economic Forum stakeholder capitalism and Gandhian thought of Sarvodaya goes hand in hand. Now, the other side of the argument, let us have a look at that. The service sector today that we see that is completely based on internet is because of the model that we have adopted in 1991 or the LPG era reforms. So we cannot completely deny that the LPG era reforms have not worked in our favor. LPG reforms did create a lot of jobs. LPG reforms did bring up a lot of families from middle class to upper middle class, and they have improved our standards of living. However, the ill effects of globalization also manifested in these LPG reforms, and inequality has risen. So our duty now is to ensure that we reduce this inequality and move towards sustainable production. Now this sustainable production should ultimately create this atmosphere and ecosystem of self-reliant India or Atmanirbhar Bharat. That is the central point that is being discussed in this article. That's it for the day. Thank you.